July 8th, 2021. A Ring camera captures 23-year-old Chandler Halderson walking around the neighborhood, going door to door, asking people if they've seen his parents, Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson. According to Chandler, they packed their bags for the 4th of July weekend and headed up to the family cabin in White Lake, Wisconsin, along with another couple, planning to fix a fireplace. But as the days go by, Chandler says he can't get in touch with them. Their phones go straight to voicemail every time.
So my last message I got from them, they were going to White Lake for the 4th of July to a cabin.
Why would they not call? Why wouldn't there be a text or something? We were worried that, are they being held hostage somewhere?
No one even suspected that Bart and Krista had already been gone for a long time, and what detectives were about to uncover would expose a web of financial lies, fake identities, and a cold-blooded killer hiding right in plain sight. This story is filled with brutality, death, and violence. And before we begin, I'd love for you guys to leave a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is for you right now. It really helps support and grow our channel. Now, let's get into today's story.
I think it's time we start talking about what happened to your parents. Like the truthful version.
What?
Because listen to me. This is the only chance you're gonna have to tell us the truth. We know your parents are no longer with us. Okay, and we know the reason why.
July 7th, 2021. 23-year-old Chandler Michael Halderson walks into the Dane County Sheriff's Office and files a missing persons report for his parents Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson. According to Chandler, on Friday, July 2nd, they left for the family cabin in White Lake, Wisconsin to spend the 4th of July weekend out in nature. They were supposed to be back by Monday, but now it's already Wednesday, and there's still no word from them. Their phones also go straight to voicemail every time, which Chandler points out isn't all that unusual because the cell service near the cabin is really poor. Investigators figure maybe they just decided to stay a few extra days for some reason, but Chandler's girlfriend, Catherine, has a different take on it.
His parents are usually on time, but it was they'll be back, And then they're supposed to be back early Tuesday morning if they didn't make it back Monday night. It's his dad's very punctual.
Okay.
So, and his mom was supposed to work Tuesday.
Neither of them shows up for work, and Krista is even at risk of losing her job if she doesn't come in. Normally, they would have at least let their son and their workplaces know if they were going to be delayed or stay longer. Something about this just doesn't feel right. Those suspicions only grow stronger when it turns out they didn't even leave on their own. According to Chandler Halderson, friends picked them up early in the morning on July 2nd, before he even woke up, and he doesn't even know who those friends are. At this point, Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson could literally be anywhere. What investigators don't realize yet is that Chandler knows a lot more than he's saying, and that's going to become more and more obvious as the investigation unfolds. For now, officers head out to the cabin to search for the couple, while Chandler spends the rest of the day talking to local news outlets, pushing the story out as much as possible, hoping someone out there comes forward with new information.
Chandler Halderson says his parents, Krista and Bart, were getting picked up by friends that Friday.
Their plans were going up with their friends and do some minor repairs on our cabin.
That cabin is some 3 hours away from Windsor on a lake in a small community in Langlade County.
I was told they...
At first, it really seems like Chandler is genuinely worried about his parents' safety, the same people who had supported him through every stage of his life, even when it wasn't easy. From the outside, it looks like real concern, almost like a desperate attempt to figure out what's going on. But in this story, every emotion makes you look a little closer, because behind that visible worry, there may be something much darker hiding underneath. Sometimes they could be a little strict, not out of coldness, but because they wanted to guide him, protect him, and help him stay on the right path. The people who knew them described them as some of the most dependable people they'd ever met. The kind of people you could count on without explanations, without conditions, and without a second thought. Bart was the type of neighbor who would quietly shovel the snow from your driveway before you even had the chance to think about doing it yourself. No need for thanks, no need for attention, just because to him it was the right thing to do. His kindness wasn't loud, but you could feel it in everything he did. And Krista was a free spirit, warm, open-hearted, and full of that rare kind of energy that makes a room feel brighter the moment she walks into it. She loved her children more than anything in the world, and that love wasn't performative or forced. It was deep, genuine, and the kind of love you could feel even in silence.
There was parents. They're important. Like, I hang out with them. We play Mario Kart. His mom makes the Toad sound every time she selects Toad. No, Yoshi. The Yoshi sound. That's exactly how she does it. Lose every time, but like I don't know. I just don't understand how you couldn't like be worried or emotional.
I know. I mean, that's why we're here.
At the family cabin, officers are met by Chandler's older brother, Mitchell Halderson, along with his girlfriend, and they begin searching the property, looking for any sign of the couple.
I'm Detective Sergeant Groans with Langley County. Are you guys,
The Halderson?
You are affiliated with them?
Yes.
Okay. What's your relation?
I'm their son.
You're their son. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Maybe we could just take a walk around and see. You would know the property probably better than we would.
It's changed a bit since I've been here, but yeah.
Sure. How long has it been in the family?
It's always been in the family since the 40s.
Okay. Do you guys typically use it a lot, or?
A few times a year. This is where my parents come up. I haven't come in a while.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let me just grab my windows quick, and then we'll take a look around, and we'll go from there. Okay. Do you guys have a boat or anything up here?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to try to get in there as well to see if any of them are missing.
Boat.
So far, nothing seems suspicious, but the officers haven't gone inside the cabin yet. It's locked up on all sides, so they have to force their way in, hoping to find at least some kind of clue that might point to where the couple could be.
Sheriff's office, anybody inside? Announce your presence, make yourselves known.
And there's a trapdoor basement.
Okay. Upstairs looks pretty small. I can see a bed that's made up.
Did you check these two doors or?
Not yet.
Okay.
The cabin turns out to be eerily empty. Dust covers every surface, completely undisturbed. There are no fresh supplies, and the vegetation around the cabin looks totally untouched. Just like Mitchell Halderson said, it's only used a few times a year, and from the way it looks, no one's been there in a very long time. Definitely not just a few days ago, like Chandler Halderson claimed. So then, officers force open the nearby boathouse, hoping they might find some kind of clue inside.
Let's save going. A boat, a canoe, inner tubes, some silly mules.
Does your family did any other property?
The boathouse nearby still contains all three boats belonging to the Halderson family, and since none of them are missing, the idea that they left on some kind of trip out on the water quickly falls apart too. Every sign points to the same conclusion: Bart and Krista never actually made it to the cabin, and that raises the biggest question of all: what really happened to them? The answer would turn out to be far more horrifying than anyone could have imagined. With that in mind, investigators shift their focus to the last known place Bart and Krista were seeing their home. And at first glance, everything looks completely normal. The first thing that stands out is the fireplace, where one of the glass panels is missing. A little strange, sure, but not immediately alarming. But then investigators start looking closer. and they noticed that certain areas of the house seemed suspiciously clean, almost like they had been thoroughly scrubbed very recently. Some of the kitchen floor tiles and cabinets had been removed, which Chandler explained away as part of an ongoing renovation. But the most important evidence comes from the massive amounts of blood spatter spread throughout the house, especially in the basement. None of it is visible to the naked eye, most likely because of recent cleaning. But once investigators use luminol, they uncover an alarming amount of hidden blood evidence throughout the home. That's another major red flag, because it would have made a lot more sense for those stains to be inside the cabin if something had happened there, not inside the house. The only person who can really provide more answers at this point is Chandler Halderson. He's the last one who saw Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson on the day they supposedly left for the cabin. So, on the morning of July 8th, less than 24 hours after the initial report, officers pick Chandler up and bring him to the public safety building for questioning. Up to this point, he's been fully cooperative, and detectives expect that to continue. But the moment he's left alone, surveillance cameras inside the interrogation room capture him doing something very strange.
3, 2.
It almost looks like Chandler Halderson is trying to eavesdrop on what the detectives are saying outside the door. You could write it off as simple curiosity, just wanting to know if they found any leads. But if that were the case, he could have just asked them directly when they came back into the room. And when the detectives do walk in, he actually does ask about what the officers were doing at his house.
By the way, a detective at my house said something's happened, and while we were leaving, people were going inside. Is there a warrant for my house?
Should there be?
No, I'm just wondering if...
Okay.
Can they go in?
As far as I know, they were at your house, and they were going to be there talking to you to ask if you would come up here and talk to us.
But Officer Haley just walked pretty much in to the gate. You know, the gate on the outside. She just kind of walked in. I was wondering if...
Was that when you were getting your wallet?
No, I was in the car waiting.
The unusual findings inside the house are still a major mystery, and Chandler Halderson's sudden concern about what exactly was discovered there only adds to the suspicion. But for now, detectives don't make any direct accusations. The last thing they want is for him to shut down and ask for a lawyer. Instead, they focus on getting a full, detailed account of what happened from him. What they don't expect, though, is that Chandler came in prepared.
Let's just go back to last Wednesday.
Wednesday. I was with my dad. What time Wednesday? I remember it. It was kind of a bad day.
Okay. Why was it a bad day?
Well, my mom had work, so she was gone. My dad and I were watching something over lunch. It was The Wheel of Fortune, and we normally have the couch, with our back facing the table we sat at the end of you coming.
Downstairs or upstairs?
Downstairs.
Okay.
That room with the TV. I tossed the ball, and I smashed the glass.
Okay.
With the dog's help. That set my dad off, and we tried to clean it up.
In just about a minute, Chandler Halderson gives what seems like a perfectly reasonable explanation for the missing glass in the fireplace. What detectives don't realize yet is just how disturbing the truth behind that broken glass is going to be. Then he keeps that same story going, using it to explain another suspicious thing investigators found.
All right, so you were tossing a ball. What type of ball was it?
It's this gross, hairy tennis ball that Rizzo loves.
All right, just like a green tennis ball, like a normal.
Yeah.
Normal. Okay.
With the squeaker, not like a tennis racket ball, but
they don't chew those. My dog chews those out of any tennis ball. They just chew the squeakers out, and then they don't play with them anymore. All right, so you was tossing that around, broke the fireplace glass. You said you were injured. What type of injury?
I got a pretty deep hole in my foot. Last night Mary looked at it and she said the reason it keeps bleeding is because there's glass in it.
Oh,
So-
that's the...
Catherine, who's being questioned at the same time, backs up that story as well. But there's one key contradiction between what Chandler Halderson says at first and what she actually saw.
Are we talking massive amounts of blood, or are we talking, a little bit, like describe?
It started as drops until I got to the bathroom. And then I got back to go grab my sock and some of the paper towel. And then I see the glasses in there, so I grab a tweezers and I pull it out. And then it starts squirting out.
And did you see, like, the blood in the glass? Was that all picked up?
It was pretty much all picked up, except like a little bit of glass was still there. Honestly, I didn't see like a lot of blood.
Chandler Halderson claims the blood was literally spraying everywhere because of how serious his injury was, while Catherine says she barely saw anything like that at all. So either she just wasn't really paying attention to what was happening in his house, or Chandler is exaggerating or outright lying about how severe that injury actually was. And honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the inconsistencies in his story. When talking about what he did on the 4th of July, Chandler mentions that he went over for dinner at Catherine's mother's house, Dulce Melendez. But while he was there, he says he had some kind of emotional breakdown because of his condition.
So you were swimming, having a breakdown. What were you having a breakdown about?
You ever have your legs kind of... Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's just... I don't even know if they're done getting like as bad as they can be yet. So
Yeah.
that's not fun.
And I think you were telling me last night it's a symptom of a concussion, right?
So
Is that right?
that's not it. It's a symptom of nerve damage from the hip to my spine. So it's permanent.
Okay, I understand that now better.
Yeah. So it's just legs. I think
He claims the injury is so severe that it causes numbness in his legs and makes it impossible for him to drive. But at the very same time, in his own version of events, he describes driving to multiple places, including Dulce's house for dinner on the 4th of July, and later to family friend Dan's place to watch fireworks. By this point, detectives are starting to notice contradictions in almost everything Chandler says. For example, he insists that he contacted police because he was worried about his parents, but in reality, it was Dan who convinced him to file the missing persons report in the first place. He also repeatedly claimed that Bart and Krista left with friends early on the morning of July 2nd before he had even woken up. He even showed investigators a message he supposedly received from his mother on July 4th saying they had arrived safely and were planning to attend a parade later that day. But here's the thing, those mysterious friends don't actually exist. Surveillance footage from neighboring houses shows that nobody drove into their driveway that morning. In fact, Krista and Bart never left the house at all, which means whatever happened to them happened inside that home. And despite all these contradictions, detectives continue letting Chandler tell his story.
Not 6:15 when I woke up. I was a little late that day.
6:15 Friday. Okay.
That's just when I looked at my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs saw my Ma's note, the insurance for my appointment. I just ate whatever's on the counter. I think it was cornbread.
Where was the note from your mom?
That was on the kitchen. Like, there's a peninsula.
Yeah.
With the insurance stacked up. But I moved it to the table.
Okay.
The note that Krista Halderson supposedly left read, "Good morning, Chandler. Hope your day goes really well." As detectives would later find out, Krista actually wrote that note about a week before the trip to the cabin on July 2nd. Chandler Halderson had simply placed it on the living room table before going to the police, trying to make it look like she left it on the day she disappeared. And this is where his carefully prepared story really starts to fall apart. He gets mixed up and can't even remember which exact day his girlfriend was with him.
Alright, so Friday during the day, I just played video games, kind of.
Yeah, then after work, I believe that was the day Kat came over.
After whose work?
Kat, she is
after her work.
5 is her work when she was off. That might have been my own night. I might be wrong. I'm wrong.
Okay.
I think I spent that night alone. I just kind of gamed online.
Detectives' suspicions only grow stronger when even people outside of law enforcement start noticing something off about Chandler Halderson's behavior. Earlier that same day, for example, he asked a neighbor to check their doorbell camera footage, and even that neighbor found the way he was acting suspicious. In a message to police, he wrote, "My sister felt sorry for him. I don't see any sadness about his parents. What I see is concern about the camera angles."
Yeah, did it capture anything on?
We don't know. We don't know. They just took a copy of everything and...
Given everything investigators already know, there's a strong possibility that Chandler Halderson is involved in his own parents' disappearance, but Catherine just can't bring herself to believe it.
I don't think he had anything to do with his mom and dad being unheard from.
No. No. All my friends I've talked to, they're like, no, not Chandler, no.
Okay.
Like, that'd be crazy. Sorry, I sound very monotone right now, but like, just no. No. Mm-mm.
No?
No.
Not a mean bone in his body?
Well, everyone has a mean bone. They even said Mother Teresa was sometimes. Like,
one of the main reasons for that level of trust is that Chandler Halderson didn't seem to have any real motive for something this extreme. He came across like someone who already had his life figured out, a solid education, experience in different fields at such a young age, and even what he claimed was a job offer from SpaceX. In her interview, Catherine talks about their plans getting married and moving to Florida because of his job with SpaceX, but things didn't go the way she expected at all.
How did his doctor's appointment go on Monday or Tuesday?
not the Monday.
Okay.
Not the best. Told him like, hey, the stuttering will go away, but like the numbness is gonna like stay, you know? Because like he hit his head twice. They said like the numbness was from like a hemorrhage or something. And that's when
Catherine fully believes his story, not even suspecting the horrifying truth that detectives will later uncover. And to everyone around him, Chandler Halderson still looks like someone living a perfect life. For them, the idea that he could have killed his own parents feels almost impossible. But that possibility starts to rise sharply when officers make a disturbing discovery near a farm in Cottage Grove owned by an acquaintance of Dulce Melendez-Crez. While one team of investigators follows every possible lead, another continues questioning Chandler. And when they receive a message from Crez about suspicious activity involving Chandler on her property, they move in immediately. Within minutes of searching, they find a dismembered male torso wrapped in a tarp on the farm. DNA analysis confirms it. The remains belong to Bart Halderson. A quick sweep of the area also turns up several tools likely used in the murder hidden inside an old metal barrel. Meanwhile, investigators searching the Halderson home uncover several key pieces of evidence, including both parents' phones wrapped in aluminum foil to prevent tracking. They also find 5 shell casings in the basement, suggesting that Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson were likely shot inside the house. At this point, detectives have more than enough circumstantial evidence to confront Chandler Halderson directly, and the moment they do, his behavior changes instantly.
I think it's time we start talking about what happened to your parents. Like the truthful version.
Okay.
Okay? So we have like 20 pages of writing. We're gonna share with a clean white piece of paper if you start telling the truth. What? Because listen to me. This is the only chance you're gonna have to tell us the truth. Okay. What we listen. I can't tell you what we know, but we know you're not telling us the truth. We know your parents are no longer with us. Okay, and we know the reason why. Okay, you need to tell the truth. Listen. You need to tell the truth about what happened, and just tell us why it happened. Okay? If something happened, if you were defending yourself, or if you just got fed up with stuff, you need to tell us the truth. Okay? This is your chance to tell us why. Okay? I'm not BSing you. Okay? So can we do that?
Okay, they're okay. Lawyer. I'm sorry. Say it again, Chandler. Lawyer. Okay. Because
He goes from giving incredibly detailed accounts of every minute of his life while his parents were supposedly missing, to suddenly going completely silent and asking for a lawyer. Krista's fate is still unknown, and Chandler's abrupt silence does absolutely nothing to help his case. Now detectives need to figure out not only what he did, but why he did it. They get the answer to the first question after reconstructing his movements on the day he allegedly murdered his parents. And what they uncover is one of the most horrifying things a son could ever do to his own family. It all began when he shot his parents, first Bart at around 1:30 in the afternoon, and then Krista after she returned home from work at about 5 o'clock. The next day, on July 3rd, he drove to Cressa's farm and asked if he could use her heated pool as physical therapy for his legs. She agreed and let him in. But when she checked on him about an hour later, Chandler was gone and the pool cover had never even been removed. His car was parked near the edge of the woods with the trunk left open. Later, she reported the suspicious behavior, which ultimately led investigators to the discovery of Bart's remains. Detectives believe the pool story was nothing more than an excuse to dispose of a dismembered body in the woods. Tragically, there were still no clues about Krista's whereabouts. That is until July 14th, when Catherine suddenly remembers one crucial detail. Suspecting Chandler Halderson of cheating, Snapchat's location tracking was turned on to monitor where he was. On July 3rd, she checked his location and was surprised to see him near the Wisconsin River, so she took a screenshot. Chandler had been to that area many times before, but almost always with his parents. Him going there alone on July 3rd stood out as really unusual, but as it turns out, it wasn't random at all. When that area is later searched, investigators find dismembered remains that are eventually confirmed to belong to Krista Halderson. Put simply, July 3rd is when Chandler chose to dispose of his parents' bodies. Catherine's interview also helps investigators piece together what happened in the time between the murders of Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson and the disposal of their remains.
I'm sorry, you said you went to East Target? That you went from Hilldale to East Target?
No, from Hilldale to apartment to grab dirty clothes and clothes. To East, to my mom's house, to grab the hydrogen peroxide and the Swiffer because Chandler broke the glass of the fireplace that day and cut his toe, so we wanted to clean that and then clean up the glass and blood. And then
It's clear that Chandler Halderson used cleaning supplies to try to wash away the blood. And while his burned hands might seem like a minor detail, they actually point to one of the most disturbing things he did to his parents. Footage from a neighbor's doorbell camera shows a bright glow coming from the chimney of the Halderson home on the night of July 2nd. That, combined with bone fragments found in the fireplace, reveals the full extent of what happened. Chandler didn't just shoot and dismember his parents, Bart Halderson and Krista Halderson. He also tried to burn their remains in the fireplace. But the fire got out of control, cracking the glass and leaving clear burn marks around it. As the investigation moves toward its conclusion, detectives also uncover surveillance footage showing Chandler buying a tarp, which he later used to transport Bart's remains, as well as large bags of ice he used in an attempt to slow decomposition. And that leaves one question: why? Why would Chandler destroy what looked like a perfect life to commit something this horrific? But the deeper investigators dig into his life, the more complicated the truth becomes. It turns out he had been lying about almost everything to his parents and to his girlfriend. He never actually graduated from college, and he didn't work most of the jobs he claimed to have. In that same pattern, the supposed job offer from SpaceX was completely fabricated. A review of his devices shows he created fake email accounts that looked official and used them to deceive his parents. He would send emails to himself about school and work, building the illusion of a successful life, while in reality he spent most of his time playing video games. Chandler thought he had everything under control. He even exaggerated the symptoms from his fall to create an excuse for why he couldn't accept the fake job at SpaceX. But right when he thought he was safe, Bart Halderson started to uncover the truth, or at least he was getting very close. Chandler had told his parents he couldn't get his academic transcripts because the college was delaying them. So on July 1st, Bart called the college himself, pretending to be Chandler, trying to find out what was really going on.
Hi, I'm trying to get an appointment scheduled to meet with somebody to mainly just get a copy of the transcript and also a printed copy of a certificate that was earned and other degree verification.
Okay.
How do I get that done?
Okay, for the degree, you have to download the duplicate diploma form and send it in with a check or a money order of $4 for the diploma to be mailed back to you. For the transcript, you have to go online and request it.
Yeah, I tried requesting them online and we never got them. And I've spent I don't know how many times doing that at $8 a piece, so I'm not willing to do that again.
Why is not letting you request your transcript? What is it?
It's not my system, it's your system, so don't ask me questions like that.
Okay, but I need to establish the problem first before I can know how to walk you through to get it. Are you by a computer so I can walk you through on how to get it?
I've gone through the process before. I worked with, I tried to work with Daniel Spike to see if he can get through the information.
After that, he directly asks about the certificate and comes face to face with a shocking truth.
Now, if you've earned a certificate, say in that solar program,
you said
where does that get requested through?
If you earned a certificate?
Yeah.
I don't see that you earned a certificate. There were no you were taking IT classes, right? I don't see that you were in a program.
Well, prior to the IT, there was a solar program too.
Yeah, but I don't see that you were Chandler Anderson.
No, there was an old account that got changed to this new one, so would it be under the old account that didn't get, or did all that get transferred over? Can you tell if those two were combined or not?
Hold on and see. No, I don't see a request for duplicate account. There was no.
How far back does that account go that you're looking at? Like when was the first class taken?
18, spring of 2018.
Oh, okay. So that does have all the history then.
So I don't see that you were admitted in any program.
Well, you said they were, it's the IT degrees in there, right?
No, those are just classes. Like you took general education classes and then the IT classes.
It appeared that Bart was planning to go to the college with Chandler the following day to finally get to the bottom of everything. The last sign that Bart was still alive was a text message he sent Chandler on July 2nd at around 1:30 in the afternoon. "I'm ready, just waiting on you." Once detectives put all the pieces of the story together, they uncovered one of the most important elements in any murder case motive. For Chandler, Murdering his own parents in cold blood became the better option than facing the consequences of his lies being exposed. He was arrested immediately after his interview on July 8th, 2021, and in January of 2022, he stood trial for the senseless murders of his parents. All of it simply because he didn't want people to find out he was lying. Chandler was charged with 8 felony counts, including 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and 2 counts related to mutilation of a corpse. He was found guilty on all major charges and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.